Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle here with the off-season power rankings. For those who don't know, the off-season power rankings are where basically I just look at everything a team did last year and try to determine how well I think they will do next year, and maybe address some of the needs that I think they have. That we'll see what happens with like free agency and trades and the draft and stuff. But I'm not going to edit this one. I'm just going to give a quick overview of every team. And some of these, if you've been here long enough, you can probably guess a few. And a few others that you might get shocked by. But we'll start with number 12, the Indiana Fever. I think most of you probably would have figured that out. This is a team that was dead last by a large margin. Like far and away, easily the worst team in the league all year. And even though they've got some young talent, they kind of got screwed in the draft. And, I mean, so the third overall pick, it could still be good, but first overall would probably be much better. Now, I don't watch enough college to say this for sure, but can we guarantee that this year's draft will have as much depth as last year's did? I mean, either way, top three could still be good. A lot of incredible, talented players that have gone number 3 overall. Skylar Diggins-Smith, first one comes to mind. Either way, Indiana Fever, they have some upside. They could get better in the future. I just don't expect them to make any huge leaps this year. And then we're going to go with number 11, which might be the first surprise for some of you. It's Dallas Wings. And yet, because the main thing with this is just that, number one, they're the most disappointing team in the league. My preseason power rankings, I had them at number 4, I believe. And they just barely got into the playoffs this year. And now, there are just so many things up in the air, so many questions. Liz Cambage, will she return? She's very unhappy with the officiating. Money's a huge issue. And just, of course, the physical toll that it takes on your body playing year-round, the mental stress that can cause. So their best player could potentially sit out. And we don't know who their head coach is going to be. There's just a lot of uncertainty with this team. I still believe that, with Skylar Diggins and Liz Cambage, if they're able to play at their peak, if Chloe can be a good, consistent anchor, if they got good defense and good contributors from the others, this is a good team that could challenge for the title. Liz Cambage is possibly the most dominant player in the game, and there's a lot of upside with this roster. But like I said, right now there's just too much up in the air for me to have any actual faith in them. And then we move on to number 10, the Chicago Sky, which they lost their head coach as well, but there have been different reports about why she left, about how maybe she wasn't reaching the team as well as she could have, connecting with them personally and whatnot. I've read articles about this. So, I can't say for sure what the issues were, but whatever it was, it wasn't working. We know the talent's there. They've got multiple Pro Bowlers. You've got a straight shooter in Allie Quigley. You've got a defensive player in Gabby Williams who's got a lot of upside. You got a young stud in Diamond DeShields. And honestly, if you ask me, Courtney Vandersloot might be the best point guard in the game right now. That's my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree with me. I expect it. But, they've got talent, not to mention Steph Dole, Elena Coates. They've got a lot of talent. They've got a lot of depth. I think this team is capable of being good, but I have yet to see it from them. They haven't been to the playoffs since Della Don left. There's just so much going. I don't know. I don't know what it is that they need to be good. I don't. I'm not that smart. I'm not Popovich. I couldn't tell you. I'm not this wise sage. I just know that talent is there, but it hasn't been equating to enough wins. So now we go to number 9, New York Liberty. They struggled a lot last year, though, to be fair. There were a ton of injuries. Katie Smith, it was her first year as a coach. I think this team, a healthy New York Liberty, has a really great shot of getting into the playoffs. And I think the main reason I'm put them out, I feel like I said, I haven't seen it yet. It's somewhat hard for me to have confidence in a team that hasn't already proven the ability to do it. And like I said, we saw the huge drop off from one year to the next, from a 20-win season to a 20-loss season immediately. We've heard of those stories of teams going from worst to first, but how often does a team go from first to worst in one year? I mean, they didn't finish dead last, I don't think. But still, that was a huge drop off. And then we go to Minnesota. Lindsay Whalen is gone, and even if she was never the top playmaker on the team, this is a player. I think she's second or third in assist. I believe she's third in career assist. And with Brunson, I'm shocked she's held on this long. Augusta, she's not who she used to be. Injuries and old age have both affected her. And I honestly feel like with Brunson and Augustus, they played their last All-Star game last year. I don't think we're going to see them there again. You still got two MVPs in Maya Moore and Sylvia Fowles, and that's the only reason why I kept them in the playoffs. Because when you have two MVPs on your roster, it's hard to expect this team to lose. And I'm a huge fan of D-Rob. I've watched her entire career. We'll see if she can come back healthy and how well she develops. There is talent on this roster. They've got two future Hall of Famers and a half-decent supporting cast. I think playoffs it's pretty accurate. This is why I tend to edit. I'm a writer. I need to edit myself. Number 7, I put the Connecticut Sun. This team, they had some new pieces in place. They're trying to figure everything out. I stand by what I said about them last year. Kurt Miller, possibly the best coach in the game, maybe. And they've got a trio in Jones, Agumake, and Thomas. Alyssa Thomas, though Jasmine Thomas is great. If those three are all Pro Bowl caliber, so if all of them are doing what they need to, and if everything is clicking on all cylinders, this team can be damn scary. And then you've got, and I put at number 6, Los Angeles Sparks. And it was so weird in the playoffs. You saw the two teams that were in the finals last year playing each other in the first round. And once again, I don't know what to tell you what was wrong with them. I know they had some injury issues. Necker missed time. Alana Beard missed time. And I 100% believe that if none of their stars had missed time, they might have finished top 4 in the league. And so right now, you still got a great head coach in Brian Nagler. You've got 2 MVPs in Parker and Necker. Chelsea Gray has developed into an all-star. They've got a decent supporting cast. So it's hard to predict what the future holds, but I think this is a team that I expect them to stay above 500 most of the way. And I think the only reason I put them this low is because of the competition they're facing. First of all, you've got the Mercury. I have no idea, Taurasi, if she's going to continue to defy the odds. Who knows how long she'll be here. And if she does continue to stay, how long will she continue playing at this level? However, Griner and Bonner alone are strong enough to carry this team through up to regular season success. Playoffs are another story. I think they definitely need to work on the depth. They've had one of the worst benches in the league for so many years. But like I said, Griner and Bonner alone, they're both going to be all-stars next year. I'm going to say it right now. Bonner and Griner, if they're healthy, they're both going to the all-star game. These are 2 elite players that can score, they can defend. And like I said, if Taurasi comes back, that's just an added bonus. Phoenix, I don't see any way, other than Griner or Bonner, one of them getting hurt and missing major time, I don't see Phoenix ever dropping below 500 this season. Unless they play one of the top 4 teams and end up starting 0-1. But other than that, I feel like Phoenix is going to have a pretty good season next year. And I put at number 4, the Atlanta Dream. And Nikki Collins, she nearly got the team to the finals, even without Angel McCoughtry, and it was her first season. And there are a lot of people trying to figure some shit out. So I feel like Atlanta, they could still... they could still compete for the number one seed, and I mean, it's hard to tell for sure. The only reason I put them as low as I did drop them is because of Connecticut. Because Kurt Miller's team shocked everybody last year, and then they fell off this season. So I'm wondering if Atlanta could end up suffering from that same thing. Because with Angel's injury, will she be back at the start of the year? I mean, will she be back at all? She could end up missing the entire year. Hopefully that's not the case, but still, like, I'm just wondering. I'm wondering about that. And also just in general, that something is in the back of my mind. A lot of teams, like the Sun, the Sparks, the Liberty, the Lynx, they just fail. Those were the top 4 teams in the league the year before, and they finished like 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, and 9, or 11. Where did New York finish? I probably should have double checked some of that shit before I got on here, but still, there's a lot of parity in this league. And number 3, I'm definitely favoring them far too much. And if anyone had actually watched my last video, you'd probably understand a little more why. Long story short, yes, this is quite a leap, but Laimbeer already doubled their win record into his first year with the team. You've got a lot of talented young playmakers. You've already got Plum and Wilson and McBride. If those 3 can average 60 a game, you've already got a winning formula right there. But now they're getting another first overall pick. Whether they use it or trade it away, there's a lot of value in holding the number 1 pick. So they're going to improve this offseason in some way, shape, or form. So they're gonna add additional talent to an already packed roster that has 7 first-round draft picks. You got number 1 overall in Plum and Wilson. You got a 3 overall in McBride, a 2 overall in Jefferson. And I also know Nia Coffey was a first-rounder. Dearica Hamby was a first-rounder. And I think last I checked, Lindsay Allen was on the roster still, and I believe she was a first-rounder. There's a lot of talent on this team. They're going to continue playing well. If you just look at the maturity alone of the young individuals that are expected to carry this team, that alone can greatly improve them. I definitely expect them in the playoffs. Will they actually finish top 4? Probably not. But I think they could potentially. They're good enough that they could get a 20-win team. Especially if Kelsey is averaging 20 points and 10 assists, if Asia's averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds, if McBride's hitting her threes, getting 20 to 30 points a game, and then they end up having that first overall pick, and she gets Rookie of the Year. There's so much that could go right for this team. So yeah, I'm putting them at 3 for now. We'll see, but I'm putting them at 3. And then we're going to look at number 2, and shocking, but I'm going with the Seattle Storm. 2 reasons for this. Number 1, it's hard to see how this team could get better. Don't get me wrong, they can get better. They could use a little more length. They played very small, but that seemed to work for them. And, Sue, she says she's coming back, and even if she didn't, Canada has shown flashes of brilliance. You got an MVP in Stewie, an all-star in Jewel Lloyd, and, like I said, same thing with Taurasi. Even if she doesn't come back, this team is great. But if Bird does come back and is able to play on a higher level, that's a huge bonus. A lot of respect for Dan Hughes. And if I'm being completely honest, they've got stars. They've got an amazing supporting cast. The only reason I'm putting them at number 2 is because they won the championship. And the only thing harder than winning is repeating. So I refuse to ever put a defending champion at number 1 on my power rankings. Ever. Just regardless, okay? So at number 1, you can probably guess by now, Washington Mystics. And this is a team that made it to the finals with a hobbled Deladon. And now next year, the Emma Meesseman's coming back. They should be able to introduce Becca Greenwell, a draft pick from last year, who I've been a huge fan of. Not to mention, whoever they end up drafting this year, if they end up making the team. Ariel Atkins, this year's rookie, she developed very well. Christie's been a state. Christie's probably gonna be an All-Star again this year, though hopefully she doesn't disappear in the playoffs like she did this year. The Mystics, they're a great team, and I feel like they're just gonna get even stronger next year. So, those are my off-season power rankings, and you will not see another video from me most likely until April. But hopefully you stick around, and I'm really sorry I didn't finish this year. Life happens sometimes. It's unfortunate. But, hopefully stick around next year. We'll give it another go, and hopefully I'll be able to stick with it. So, to the next time you see me in a video, my name is Nathan Lyle. This has been The Fan Perspective. Hope you have a great year.